Hello and welcome to NRL Tonight. I'm Jake Duke. Thank you so much for your company. Here's what's making news this Wednesday. Overlooked but not defeated, Reece Walsh breaks his silence on his State of Origin snubbing. Fozball forever. Kieran Foran sets lofty goals after being appointed head coach of the Seagulls. And Kyle Flanagan opens up about the season from hell for the Dragons, including his father Shane's axing. Yes, all that and plenty more to come over the next half an hour, but we start in Brisbane, and an honest Reece Walsh admits he isn't playing up to standard this year following his State of Origin snub. The Broncos superstar still wants to play for Queensland this season, but says he has to deliver for Brisbane first.
He's back in black, but Reece Walsh would rather wear maroon.
Yeah, I was disappointed, mate, obviously. Young Queensland, all you want to do is, go up and play for Queensland.
Left out of the Origin opener, the 2025 Clive Churchill medalist has had a look in the mirror.
I know the standards it takes to play for Queensland, and I'm a realist and I'm honest with myself, and I probably haven't been living up to those standards that it takes to wear that Queensland jersey. Walsh
has another shot at selection this weekend when his Broncos take on the Titans. Brisbane staring down 5 consecutive defeats.
I'd have a crack in the middle, mate. Nah, look, honestly, I'm just worried about playing for the Bronx and getting our season back on track. It'd be nice to be in that arena and be amongst the Queenslanders and do that, but my fully focus right now is playing good footy for the Bronx.
Pat Carrigan and Gemmet Shibasaki are injured. Xavier Willison shifts to lock while Grant Anderson comes into the side. 5'8" Ezra Mam has been axed, dropped in favour of Tom Duffy.
Ezra's a professional. He'll put the team first no matter what. So if Madge made that call, he's for it. And Ezra will put his head down today at train and do his thing. And if he gets another opportunity, I dare say I wouldn't want to be that side on the other end of it.
Sitting 11th after losing to the previously winless Dragons, Brisbane say they're not afraid of the truth after outgoing prop Payne Haas publicly lashed the team in a radio interview.
I think this shows the leadership. I feel like there was a point last year where we were going through the same sort of roller coaster and we had the same sort of conversations in-house. So just shows the quality that we have here at the club and the quality of leader that Payne is. He doesn't leave any stone unturned and he tells you to your face.
Meanwhile, 4-time premiership-winning women's captain Ali Brigginshaw has announced she'll step down from her co-captaincy. The 36-year-old set to retire at the end of the upcoming NRLW season.
The time is right. Done so many amazing things here, but there's the next group of leaders where I want them to come through and I want to be able to support them in my last year.
Brigginshaw has played 56 games for Brisbane. Josh Bristow, Fox Sports News.
Joining me to discuss all the news in rugby league this afternoon, this evening, is former Maroon Benny Ross. Benny, thank you for your time. Cheers. Let's talk about Reece Walsh. What do you make of his frank admission there that he's not playing up to Queensland standard?
Well, I think he's had to come out and say that. Everyone was wondering why he hadn't been picked. He now says he is not up to standards. His team hasn't been up to the standards. And when you look around that, it just needs to improve. And for him to actually own it is probably a good thing for him to understand. All
right, that being said, no Shibasaki, he's out injured. Ezra Mam, we just heard, has been dropped this weekend. They were both on the bench for Queensland in game 1. So if Reece can put in a performance against the Titans this weekend, do you see him forcing his way onto that bench?
It'd be a hard one because the only position for Reece is fullback. So you put him on the bench, it means Ponga's got to move somewhere else. I really don't see that happening. I feel that Mam, even though he's been dropped, I think he's one of those guys who could sit in the Origin team and still come out and perform the way he needs to perform.
Well, what do you make of that Ezra Mam decision? Because, yeah, as you said, a couple of weeks ago, he could have been playing for Queensland. He was on that bench. Now he's 18th man. Who knows if Michael Maguire actually plays him this week?
Yeah. Understanding that the reality is they lost to the Dragons. So someone's got to take accountability for it, and unfortunately it's him. As you said, he's 18th man. He could still play, and they're the things you're looking at. Maybe it's the kick in the butt he needed earlier in the week to focus on the game.
Well, talking about kicks in the butt, Payne Haas didn't mince his words when he said that they're not up to standard and they're not basically performing at the level they need to be as defending premiers. We know they went on a miracle run last year, the Broncos, but I want to read you out their run home or their run over the next 5 or 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Yep. Titans, and they go South, Roosters, Sharks, Panthers, Cowboys, Knights, Dolphins, Warriors. There are some big, strong teams in there, top 8 sides. A miracle run is going to be very hard this year.
Well, it needs to be. And you look around at the other people around them at the moment, Canberra, Melbourne Bulldogs. they're all going to go on a run at some stage too. So they've also got to get ahead of those. It's sort of, they're in the mix, but it's everyone's game this year. The rules have changed. Every team is totally different in the way that they're constructed.
Big pressure on Brisbane this week. Well, let's move to the Seagulls now, and he's taken them from 14th to 5th in just 9 weeks. And now, just a day after being announced as Manly's head coach for the next 3 years, Kieran Foran has boldly declared the Seagulls can win the comp this season.
He's just 9 games into his head coaching career, and he served only 3 as an assistant. But now officially appointed head coach of the Seagulls for the next 3 seasons, Kieran Foran is shooting for the stars.
I want to win premierships. That's, if you're not aspiring for that, then you're in the wrong industry.
Do you believe they can win it this year?
Yeah, I do. If I don't believe it, then how do I expect others around me to believe in what we're chasing? And I wholeheartedly believe that this club is built on really strong foundations, has always been a really successful club. It's always been a club that strives for premierships, and it's no different now since I've come back.
Still just 35, Foran's stunning rise to the top job just months after retiring has shattered the conventional thinking that you can't coach at the elite level without serving a years-long apprenticeship. But 7 wins in 9 games was all the proof Manly powerbrokers needed that he was ready to take on the top job.
As the weeks went on, we got more and more impressed, probably understandably, and then we came to the conclusion with the board that there probably wasn't a need to run a comprehensive process. Our man was standing right in front of us.
As a player, he was as tough and wholehearted as they come, and as a coach, he's clear-eyed about who and what he wants to be.
I'd never ask the players to do something that I wasn't willing to do myself as a player, and I like to think that, I definitely left it all out on the field when I was a player, and that's what I ask of the guys, that every time they pull on this maroon and white jersey, they know who they're representing, they know what, has been before them, and what we expect of them.
The Seagulls next face the Rabbitohs here at Brookvale Oval on Thursday night, where a win will move them back into 4th spot. An extraordinary turnaround for a side that looked more likely to win a wooden spoon before Foran stepped into the role some 10 weeks ago. Cody Kay for Fox Sports News.
Latrell Mitchell remains sidelined, but the Rabbitohs are hopeful of having their superstar back by round 17. Despite early hopes Mitchell would miss only a handful of matches, the South Sydney centre is still undergoing rehabilitation for the back injury that ruled him out of State of Origin 1 and 2.
Good rehab, it's not bad rehab. He's probably 2 or 3 weeks away still from playing. Yeah.
Is that a lot worse than first thought?
Well, he's just had the sciatic nerves playing up a fair bit on him. He just hasn't got the strength in that in his leg. But it's slowly coming back, but it's just not there yet.
Is there a concern there at all? Like he's had that before, right? Or was it a disc?
It was a disc problem last year. Yeah. Everything's a concern with Latrell, so we just we've got to ride it out.
There is welcome news on the injury front for the Rabbitohs this week, with Brandon Smith, David Fifita and Campbell Graham all expected to line up on Thursday night against the Seagulls. Benny, let's talk about that appointment, Kieran Foran. It seemed a fait accompli that he would get the job long term. He's the right man, even long term.
Oh, definitely. I think you and I have been saying this for a number of weeks now. He's now won 7 from 9. He openly says he loves the club, he knows what the DNA is about, and he wouldn't expect the players to do something he wouldn't do. So he knows the culture. I think it's the perfect signing.
What do you make of the trend towards younger coaches, right? It's something we've actually seen overseas in the NFL, like 4 or 5 coaches under the age of 40. Is that something that we might trend towards a bit more in the NRL? We're already seeing it.
That's the thing. We are already seeing it, but it's probably the players going into coaches at an earlier age. They understand the game. Like 10, 20 years ago, the game didn't change much. So we're seeing year on year the game is changing. New rules, 6 again's been brought in this year. And they understand that kind of scenario, and that's why they're so successful.
All right, the one coach who seems to defy all that logic is Wayne Bennett, but his team has had a tough couple of weeks. Obviously, all the Jai Arrow stuff. Then they come off 2 losses into their bye. Any concerns for them, or is it just a personnel issue that they've had injuries as well?
Yeah, you've got to look at the personnel issues there. Their injuries can disrupt any team. Now they've got some big guns coming back this week. I feel that they have the personnel there to manage most teams. I'm not saying that they can manage Manly this weekend, but I think they're there. I think they're in and about in that 8 by the end of the year when they get everyone back.
Their last start against the Cowboys, they obviously lost, but there was a tactical decision from Wayne Bennett where he swapped Jai Gray onto the bench, started Matt Duffy. What did you make of that? And, do you think Jai Gray's been their man over the last 2 years? He's named there tomorrow night. Is he the man that should be in that number 1?
I feel that he is. I think he's been great. As you said, he's been the man for them. But Duffy brings that X factor. He can really start a game off. And as we've seen over the past probably 5 rounds, anyone who starts the game quickly and on the front foot, they end up winning. So I think Wayne's thinking around that. Duffy, he's a powerhouse.
Yeah, well, that is an interesting one. Tomorrow night, the Seagulls up against the Rabbitohs. Let's turn to the Dragons now. And Kyle Flanagan has opened up about the challenges surrounding his father Shane's exit from the club. Flanagan stepped down from his position as head coach last month after an 0-7 start to the season. He was replaced by interim coach Dean Young. Kyle was then later dropped to the bench, but has since returned to the starting side following Cade Reed's injury.
Yeah, look, I think it's definitely been a challenge, as I mentioned before. The old man sort of come out the last couple of weeks and sort of said his part in it, which, for me, I'll probably touch on it a bit further down the track, but for now I'm just focused on doing my absolute best for the team, and I love competing with my teammates and helping this team in this club win, and that's all my focus is. Probably it's a hard question to probably put a finger on it, but possibly my upbringing. I think you go through tough times. I guess every footballer has different scenarios what they go through when they're younger, but different challenges have been thrown my way. I just like to keep turning up and facing challenges head on, and just keep turning up, getting better, and as I said before, being a better man for my family, and doing my absolute best I can for my own name and them too, I guess.
Fresh off their drought-breaking win over the Broncos, the Dragons head into their local derby against the Sharps, looking to claim a big scalp, but Cronulla say they're ready for the challenge.
Yeah, there's always a fire burning there. This little fire burning in the back of the brain. Don't need much to go after them this weekend.
Who have you got in mind? Who would you like to get most?
Oh, they've got a good pack. They're young boys. They're ethical. They go about their work, and I reckon if we're better than my opposite number, I'll be playing hooker this weekend. But those Cashman brothers, another set of twins, they run hard. So if I'm gonna put one on them, I'll go after them.
Surely there's a target on Dan Atkinson.
Nah, got a lot of love for him, but if he comes in our way, we'll make him feel it.
The Sharks have won 10 of their past 11 games against the Dragons. Benny, what happened on Sunday? I was sitting there on the sideline. We couldn't believe it. The Dragons off to a flyer. They held on to beat the Broncos. Where's that been all season, first of all?
And that's the thing. They came out on fire. No one expected it, and I heard the pub was going crazy. So it's one of those things. And as you said, they hung on. They got off to a 20-minute head start and just was able to hold on. I think that's what the Dragons have got to do. They're young, they're enthusiastic, they need to start winning games at the beginning. All
right, you're going to hate this question, but can they back it up against your Sharkies, who have some key injuries, notably no Nico Hines again, and then Blake Brayley as well? Yeah, well, Blake Brayley's a big loss, and he's been their best for the number of last few years. But I feel the Dragons can come close. It's one of these tough matches, local derby. They'll give it their all, but there's something special about the Sharks. In the tough times, they can come out. Talking about something special, look at the Dragons for next year. We know yesterday we found out that they're going to get Connor Watson for 2027. You add that with Metcalf, Kaloamatangi, Drinkwater, Philip Sami, some of the pieces that are working well, like Hohe Papura was saying, they're young forwards, the Cashman boys, etc. Dragons could have a big bounce back next year. I know this year is pretty much dead and buried, but next year is looking promising. Yeah, it is, but the number one thing is who's their coach? We've got to look at those type of things. There's a number of coaches in the mix at the moment. Dean's doing a fantastic job, but I feel for the Dragons right now. They're signing all these great players, but they don't know that direction yet. Yeah. When does that decision need to be made? I think they leave it till the end of the year. Give Dean his time, because I know Toddy Payton's off. There's a few others there in the mix. Let them all do their due diligence against the club, and we know the Dragons can be a phenomenal club next year. They just need the right people behind it. There's talk today that Moses Shuli's been told he can look elsewhere for 27. Do you expect other guys to be given the tap on the shoulder and said, if you want to go, you can? Yeah. Well, you look at that. If you bring in a new coach, obviously he'll want to bring his own personnel in. There's the players who haven't been up to standard for the Dragons. That's why they sit where they sit.
I'm sure there'll be a few taps on the shoulder.
Yeah, right. We're looking forward to that one on Sunday afternoon, the local derby between the Sharks and the Dragons. To some good news now, and the NRL has unveiled plans for a Jai July fundraiser for recently retired forward from South Sydney, Jai Arrow. The long month celebration will centre around Arrow's 31st birthday on July 12. The former Maroons star has received mass support after revealing his motor neuron disease diagnosis last month. It's understood the league has agreed that all money raised over the month will go towards Arrow and his family. The AFL has also jumped on board, with Collingwood inviting Arrow to toss the coin at this weekend's Big Freeze event, which is also aimed at combating motor neuron disease. Terrific news, and well done to the NRL and AFL. Well, stay with us here on NRL Tonight. Plenty more coming up shortly. As we head to the break, here's a preview of this week's edition of The Fan.
Our next guest on The Fan will probably be most recognisable to West Tigers supporters because she's often spotted on game day in the coach's box. I run into her regularly on the sideline on game day. Please, we welcome in Cassidy Graham. Cassidy, great to see you. Tell us about your role and what your job title is.
Yeah, so my job title is NRL Performance Analyst. So my job at the moment is to support the coaching staff and basically give them all the information they need to help optimise on-field performance.
Okay. Who was your favourite player growing up?
I mean, 2005, I guess I was a little youngster growing up, and I guess it's hard to go past the flick pass in the grand final.
Okay, so the coach was your favourite player. I mean, honestly, could you be living a bigger dream?
It's hard to say
It's a pretty amazing role to have, working under the player that you adored growing up.
Welcome back to NRL Tonight. I'm Jake Duke. Thank you for your company. Raiders star Hudson Young says he wasn't surprised to see Ethan Strange shine on the Origin stage. Strange played a key role in the Blues' Game 1 victory and has quickly emerged as a contender for the starting 5/8 role in Game 2. The 20-year-old strengthened his case with a man-of-the-match performance against the Cowboys, but the expected return of Mitch Moses has created a selection dilemma for Blues coach Laurie Daly.
It was cool, mate, and everyone was, I guess, surprised by the way that Strangey played, and for me and everyone here at the Raiders, we weren't, mate, because we see what he does every week, and I've been lucky enough to play with him for the last 3 or 4 years and to see his development, and yeah, I think it does help. I think I was calling Raiders plays to him sometimes in the game, but yeah, no, it definitely helps having that combination. Like you said, the way that Ethan went out there and attacked the game as a 21-year-old kid on the biggest stage. He's got such a bright future ahead of him, and then to back up 3 days later and lead the way as well. Yeah, he's got such a bright future, and if Mitch ain't ready to go, or whichever way they go, I'm sure Ethan will be ready to.
The Raiders take on the Roosters on Friday night. Canberra have won 4 of their last 5 games against the Tricolours. Benny, I want you to put your New South Wales selectors hat on for me. Or, you know what, actually, your Queensland selectors hat. Yeah. Are you more scared of Mitchell Moses or Ethan Strange playing 5'8" for New South Wales?
They've both got their different qualities. So Moses has got his on-kicking game, but Ethan Strange has that X factor, that Origin X factor. He was amazing the other night, and then to back it up on the weekend, I feel like we've got to be more scared of him. And by fact, he'll probably come off the bench for New South Wales. All 3 of them, Cleary, Moses and him, it's going to be a bit scary for Queensland.
Still plenty of games to go this weekend too, so you never know what will happen. Let's talk about the Canberra Raiders because they were the minor premiers last year. It's probably gone under the radar a little bit how underperforming they are when you consider Brisbane are actually ahead of them on the ladder. Brisbane have been copping it. Do they deserve more criticism, Canberra?
No, I don't think they do. They've lost a number of games by a small margin. They've been in games. They've been strong. I thought they've been playing pretty well, so they don't deserve criticism. They're only 2 wins out of being in the top 5. So when you look at it like that sense, the competition is so close. When we look at Brisbane, they've had some really poor performances, and let's see, they just lost to the Dragons. That's why they're getting hammered.
Well, the Raiders' last win against the Cowboys, probably their best victory of the season. They have been adjusting to new halves combinations, as we know, this year. Do you think they've turned the corner and they're ripe for a bit of a back end of the season charge?
Yeah, I think they'll come for a big charge. Ricky will have them up, just like last year. They had that sort of confidence that they needed, and I think they'll gather that again and get through.
All right, let's move on to the Tigers now. And Api Coruscant faces his former club, the Panthers, on Sunday as he pushes for a State of Origin recall. With Blake Brayley sidelined for Game 2 due to a fractured arm, Coruscant has a chance to earn his first Blues appearance since 2023. The West Tigers will be without Alex Twal, who has been ruled out with a medial knee injury and is set to miss 4 to 6 weeks.
I think he's been pretty good. Haven't really seen, but yeah, he's had a few weeks off, so yeah, it's just good to have him back in the team.
His name's been one that's been thrown around the state of origin. I think he'd going back into that arena.
I would love to watch Iper play origin. I think he deserves to be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has he spoken about it at all?
No, I haven't heard him speak about it, but I think he deserves to be in there.
Why do you think he deserves it?
I think he showed that when he's been playing for us that he can play at that speed, play at that level. I think he's been one of the best hookers in the game this year. So.
I know Alex Twal's out. How hard and big a loss is that, especially in the field?
It's definitely a big loss, but we got Charlie Murray in there, and he'll do a good job for us.
He has kind of been in career best form, Alex, though. Like, how much, speaking of the last one before, how much has he kind of helped the younger players, you know, off the field as well as on the field?
I think he just puts his hand up when things get tough. He always takes the tough carry, and when we need momentum defensively, then he's always the first one up there. So he's always putting his hand up.
Cowboys big man Cohen Hess has declared he will walk away from the game if his contract isn't extended beyond next season. The 29-year-old will play his 200th game for North Queensland this weekend and says he can't see himself pulling on any other jersey.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, don't tell Lucky or the management crew, but I won't be going anywhere. Once the club's had enough of me, I don't think I'll continue playing. So I'm getting to the age now, like I'm 30 this year, which is a bit daunting to say, but yeah, I guess I've done relatively well. I think this is my 12th career, so to play 12 seasons in the NRL is no easy feat. So yeah, once the ink on the Cowboys pen runs out, I don't think I'll be playing for another club, that's for sure.
The PNG Chiefs are set to break new ground in the NRL when they enter the competition, and they have the power to create social change for the country as well. Their leadership is already making history and could prove a game changer for women in Papua New Guinea. Our reporter Sam Squires caught up with the Chiefs CEO, Lorna McPherson.
Lorna McPherson has been signing marquee players and building a club from the ground up, but the Chiefs boss doesn't believe she has the hardest job of a CEO in the game.
I'm not sure whether it's the toughest or not. I suppose it depends on some of the other pressures that the clubs are under, but certainly from a excitement point of view and also interest, I definitely have probably the most sought after interviews at this point as a CEO for the NRL. Yeah.
McPherson is just the second female CEO in the history of the game. It's also the first time ever an NRL club has had a female CEO and chairperson at the same time, with Catherine Harris, the Chiefs chair.
Because I do believe that to get a really rounded picture of life, that you have to have both men and women represented on the table, whether you like it or you don't. And I do think that women bring a different aspect to sport. So, you know, and we deserve a seat at the table.
The Scottish-born and bred Chiefs boss has called PNG home for almost 18 years, where she was the Senior Vice President of telecommunications company Digicel prior to this role. But her journey to PNG and the NRL saw her live and work in Saudi Arabia over 2 decades ago.
Was it difficult? Yes, it was, no question about it. You know, not being able to drive, for instance, at the time, and I had a driver, was really unique. You know, the fact that you're working, you know, it was like segregation as well, where they had men working in areas and women working in areas as well, and so it was genuinely very surreal.
At the time, she was a single mum of a young son, and her career then led her to PNG with Digicel.
And here I am today. It's just been part of my life. My partner's Papua New Guinean, and I have a home in the village with him as well. So we live up in Port Moresby, but the family home is down in Kupiano in the Roma Coast. Beautiful, beautiful part of PNG. And I absolutely love my life here now.
Lorna has played a key role in the development of rugby league in Papua New Guinea and the advancement of women's rugby league, and has the NRLW firmly in the club's plans.
Look, we've challenged ourselves, and Peter V'landys and Andrew Abdo are probably going to kill me for saying it, but I'd love to have a women's team by 2032.
McPherson hopes the Chiefs can unite the country and inspire positive change for the people of PNG.
For me, it's about education, right? So if you're really driving social change, you have to educate, because education and teaching people from being very young upwards. Get back to school, learn, understand, and have hope as well. So really important for me that everything that we do drives education.
Every young player must attend school to be involved in rugby league programs and academies, with just 16% of PNG boys and 12% of girls who start school completing Year 12. It's also mandatory for all teams in the domestic men's competition to have a women's team to keep their franchise licence. And it's not lost on Lorna the impact having 2 female leaders of this team will have on women in a country that sits far down the UN's Gender Inequality Index.
I think it's setting that example to show the girls that you can do it. There's no question about it. And I think also part of the aspect for both Kathy and myself, and we've spoken about it, is ensuring that women have self-belief. One of the biggest things in PNG for the girls is the fact of not having that self-belief. So it's about us empowering women, empowering the girls that work for us, making sure that they have that self-belief and they believe in themselves.
Sam Squires, Fox Sports News.
Yeah, terrific story from Sam Squires there. Thank you so much for that, Sam. And really interesting to hear from Lorna McPherson. The PNG Chiefs, Benny, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, men's and women's game. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you next week. That's all we've got time for on NRL Tonight. For our viewers on Fox League, NRL 360 is up next. And, of course, you can get all the latest headlines on Fox Sports News throughout the night. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.